Hey y'all, this is TR McCoy coming at you with another video.
And today we have a viewer's topic.
And what we're talking about today is homelessness in your state.
Or should we say homelessness in the United States?
And how do you feel about it?
Good question.
My question is, well, it's not my question, but I think more could be done for the homelessness, just as they're doing more for the migrants that they're bringing into the country. It seems like they're giving them preference over the homelessness in America. Now, well, the cities I visit most of the time, homelessness is it's abundant. You see it. You see them standing on the corners. You see them sleeping in the streets. You see them with all their possessions walking around, and it's. I'm from Camden. I don't live in Camden, but I'm from Camden. But I see it a lot in Camden. I know it's a lot in Philadelphia.
Now you saying are you saying homelessness because of drug and alcohol addiction, or are you saying homelessness because the cost of living is so high people can't afford to live in their.
Well, I think that's what people get mixed up because some people think all homeless people are on drugs or suffering from mental illness, but that's
Well,
not the
that's not
case.
exactly
That's not
not
the
the
case.
case, right?
Some people are homeless because they just can't afford.
Because they're living below the cost of living.
They just can't afford to pay for a home. I mean, a place to stay. That's expensive too. I mean, eh,
Well, when you look at the housing cost now today compared to what it was, let's say 8 years ago. 8 years ago, you could have gotten a two-bedroom apartment for what, $600-700,
was it
eight
that low?
hundred.
I don't know if it
Yeah,
was that
800.
low,
When I moved
but
in here, the lowest, the standard apartment was 600 and something dollars. Standard meaning they're not putting anything new in, but you have that you have what you need in there. Two bedrooms was standard 600 and something dollars.
okay, but I think since COVID, homelessness has gotten worse because we know when we went through the COVID epidemic, a lot of people lost their jobs. And
Wait, but you skipped over. I was talking about the cost of living.
no, well, we know the cost of living
Well,
goes up
but
every
that's what I'm
year. You know
saying.
what I
When
mean?
you 8 years ago, it was cheaper to get an apartment than it is to get an apartment
Apartment
now.
now,
And
right?
you're saying because COVID, that's why it's more
No,
money.
no, no, no. I'm not saying that's why it's more money. I'm saying because every year the price of things go up. It ain't like I've never lived in it. Well, I had a mortgage. Your mortgage stays the same if you have a set mortgage. But when you live in an
That goes
apartment,
up too
so
sometimes,
if you got a
depending on.
fluctuating mortgage, but if you
No,
got,
or if the taxes go up, then your mortgage goes up as
but
well.
they take that out of your escrow. Your
Right,
escrow
right,
and
right,
everything
right,
is
right.
current. But
Long
I'm
as it's
saying, but if you living in an apartment, every year your price would go up.
hmm
Every year your price would go up. I don't know how they do it in the Section 8
oh,
and all of them. I don't know
I can't speak
if
on.
their rent goes up, but I know when you live in an apartment and you ain't on Section 8, every year your rent goes up.
Now,
You
now,
know,
and that's an issue as well, because my thing is, if you're going to raise someone's rent every year, shouldn't you be doing something in that apartment? And I'm not saying something major, but okay, let's say you living in an apartment and your microwave blow out.
so you saying as you live in an apartment, your apartment should be upgraded
At least
as
every so
well,
many years. If
right?
I'm
As
in the
well as
apartment,
your rent.
yeah,
Your
I
yeah, I
think
agree.
so,
I
because
agree
I
with that.
think
I
that
agree with that.
just you raising my
Should be.
rent every year just because I don't think, I
It should be
mean,
your
I
apartment should
know.
be upgraded to as your rent goes up, your apartment should be upgraded. Whether they give you a new refrigerator, a new microwave,
They give
something
me
they ain't giving you nothing. But I'm
they
saying
knew
it
nothing.
should be upgraded, or they're gonna come and give you a new paint job, or
Yeah,
we're gonna
yeah,
come give you
yeah,
new
yeah.
carpet
At least,
because
yeah, let's paint, and
your wear and tear on the carpet it takes its toll on
right,
but
right.
that's just
The nose itching.
the I guess
The
the
way
trials and tribulations of stuff that you'd have to deal with when you're living in an
in an
apartment.
apartment. And
You
people
know what I
believe
mean?
that, living in an apartment is better than owning your own home.
Well,
I mean, I think it
it's
has its ups and downs,
it's got its pros and cons
Yes, I think it does
because it can be
because
you don't have to really wear well. We
well,
in this
but this is
apartment,
what I'm saying. The way things are going now, before if you had an apartment, you wasn't paying the water bill and all of that extra. You were paying your rent and your electric and gas.
right?
Now, or if you had
And
oil heat, you were paying for
and
your oil.
some apartments. Was
But
that all
now,
apartments?
no, now they want you to the new thing they want you to pay the
The
water
water
bill.
bill.
You know,
Well, still, I guess it depends on where you live at and how much your house is valued for.
no, we're talking
But
about
we
apartments.
know, but you was talking about the pros and cons about owning
Oh,
a home and living in an apartment.
hmm
Well, in the apartment, you don't have to pay taxes on your apartment, but when you in the home,
you got to
you have
pay
to pay
taxes and
taxes. You
insurance.
have to pay taxes and insurance.
Hmm
If you and you got to do your own repairs when you live in a house.
All right.
In the apartment, you don't have to.
No, because now they're changing that as well.
Some
If your
apartments,
washing machine and your or the dryer breaks, you have to pay that bill to get it fixed.
but I mean, but how about if you move into the apartment you can have now? I can understand if it's a new washer, but how about if you
What you
getting
mean?
a
You
new
can
washing machine? If you moving into an apartment and the washing machine you got is 10 years old and the washing machine break down, you got to fix it? No, that ain't right.
Well, I'm telling you because I know
Or is
someone
that the Section
that
8?
no, it ain't no Section 8. No, it's not Section 8. It's regular apartment that in the lease now they have if the appliance break,
You have to replace them.
you have to have it fixed. Now, I guess if they can't fix it, then they would have to replace it because it must be too old for you. If it can't be
Well,
fixed, I don't.
I don't know, but I'm just
But
saying
I'm telling you
that ain't
because
right. But
well, this is what they're doing now. So when you move into an apartment, you really have to read those leases now. If you didn't read them before, you definitely need to read them now
oh yeah,
because
well you always got to read in between
well,
small
a
print.
lot of time people don't want to read a
Read the
whole bunch
small
of
print, but
papers and all of that. But
you should though pay
yeah,
attention. You should really read the
but
small
let's
print.
go back now to homelessness. Um, so there is a difference between I guess some people became homeless and winded up out there and drinking and drugging because it's you gotta I don't know I could not see myself living on the street because you have to go through some stuff
Well,
because think about it, you living on the street, you don't know who's going to come up to you,
well,
you don't know who's going to try to rob you or hurt you or whatever.
not just that, but I do know some homeless people, and it's so many homeless people is it's like first come first serve.
Oh, that's for the
The
shelters.
shelters, right? To get
Hmm
into the shelters, it's first come first serve. If you ain't there at a certain time, you're not
You
getting
can't get
out.
in.
And then you have to worry about the like you got bullies everywhere. So you got people bullying people that's
And
homeless in the shelters.
hmm
You know what I mean? And some people
rather be in the street
rather be in
than
the
to be
streets
in the
than
shelter.
deal in the shelters. You know what I mean? A lot of cities where there's homeless, there's a lot being done as far as feeding the homeless. You
Right.
know, the churches feed them.
Yeah.
Some states have
Like the
like the
cathedral
cathedral
kitchen, they
that
feed them.
feeds them and
Hmm
everything. But the thing is getting the homeless housing.
Yeah.
Are they some of them are mental illness, some of them are drug addicts, but there should be a program for the both of them. Homelessness with mental illness. I know where we worked at, they had different programs when we would discharge our patients, they would discharge them to the program was called Micah, I think it
Micah.
was mental illness with you know what I mean, and they would put them in housing, but
And furnished
furnished.
their
Oh,
place.
their
Yeah,
house would be furnished and everything,
yeah.
but they were monitored. They were monitored. So you had someone come and check on them and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But they could still do that too. For you don't have to. You shouldn't have to go to a mental
I think
hospital
some of the
to
problem
get
with
that
that
kind of care.
came with the mental illness. I think some of the issues with that was people didn't want people that had mental illnesses in their communities or in their neighborhoods because of being afraid, you
Well,
know.
that's understandable. But then you got the mental illness, the mental people that don't want to take their medication. You put them on the medication. It's like a revolving cycle. When they get out of that the institute and they're not monitored, they stop taking their medication. But there needs to be something where to make sure they're taking their medication, just like the drug addicts that are homeless. They need to have rehab. They need to be rehabbed. Now, this was a while back ago. The percentage of people going to rehab and staying clean was like 1 or 2%. So that's
But that's because they say that, if you force somebody to go into rehab and they really don't want to go, then of course they may come out and stay clean for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days,
if that
6 months, and
if
then they're
that
back on
if
it.
that
But if they really truly desire to stay clean, and it's a fight, and I say that because not because I've taken drugs or was ever an alcoholic, but because I didn't even turn my mic on, but because of addiction, period. I'm saying
yeah.
addiction anyway. Smoke, whether it
It
be
ain't got to be
smoking,
alcohol. It ain't got to be drugs. It could
gambling,
be alcohol.
whatever.
It could be alcohol, right?
Addiction,
Is an
you have to
addiction.
make up your mind that you really want to change your lifestyle
Yeah,
of what you're doing.
yeah.
Once you make that decision, it's a battle. It's
It's a
not a,
constant battle.
I did it, I'm done,
Once
I'll
you're an
have that.
addict, it's a lifetime battle.
It's a battle.
Just like
So
if you're a gambler, it's a
yeah,
lifetime battle.
it's a
With
it's a
alcohol,
right,
it's a lifetime battle. Something you just have to deal with the rest of your life. You know
right.
what I mean? And homelessness is it's not. I'm not say it's the same, but you have to be able to sustain. If you do get a place, you have to be able to sustain your house. You
I
know what I
think
mean?
that there has to be something that they can do, and like you said, is everybody is not homeless because
Of
they
drugs and alcohol
drugs and
or
alcohol and
mental illness.
mental illness. Some are homeless
They just
because
down on
they
their luck.
just can't handle all of these taxes and things and high rents and high food and high
High
gasoline and
everything.
everything. People are struggling and
Yeah.
they are living below
The
the
poverty, living
yeah,
below
they're living
poverty.
below, and
Even
how are they supposed to make it? I mean, come
even
on.
people that's working. Some people that's
Yeah.
working is living below
Yeah, I've
poverty.
watched
You
YouTube
know,
a lot, and I was looking at if you put in the search engine people that live in their cars, you'll see so many people have
living in the
left their
cars.
apartments, their homes because they can no longer afford them, and so they live in their
The cars.
cars. And I mean,
It's a lot.
I don't understand. Like,
It's a
it
lot.
gets cold. What they got it hooked up, rigged up. Like, come on, tell me you
Well,
can't survive. People
not
know how
just
to
that.
survive, you know.
Not just that, but when you were working the full time job. Well, for a fact, I knew people that worked at Walmart, for example, and majority of the people were part time, and they had to seek medical through welfare and stuff like that. The job, even full time, the job wasn't providing. Yeah, I'm wrong. The job was providing health care, but it was so
So
high
expensive.
they couldn't afford to have the health care. So you
Right.
had people working full-time job, but you can't afford the health care, so you have to go to the state to get, welfare, whatever you have to get your medical.
And
And
that's
and
crazy.
that's
And
sad
see,
though.
and that's
And
one of
that's
the
sad.
issues that I have
That's sad.
um with the politicians and whatnot. You got people struggling, like we saying, which they're struggling with homelessness. They're struggling with not being able to buy their medication. We're talking about not just the elderly, but mostly the elderly. You can't pay for your medication. Food prices is over the top now. There's so much going on, yet you're sending money over to other countries. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't help other countries, but my mother always told me you take care of home first.
And you
So what
talking about
happens to home?
and you talking about they sending billions to foreign countries,
And your
and
people
here
right here
are
who's paying
suffering, are
taxes,
suffering,
who's paying taxes
are
are
suffering,
suffering.
are suffering.
And
But
and instead of you making it better, they're making it worse.
yeah,
Like eventually the way things are looking, there's gonna be a whole lot of
and then
people that's going to be homeless
wondering why the crime rate is so high, because
because they're trying to make it.
because
And how can they make it
I
if
don't think people are robbing people for fun. They
well
robbing them because,
you got some
well, that's
knuckleheads out
well,
there, but
but then you got people robbing people because they ain't got no choice. They're robbing people to survive. Not saying that it's right, but that's what they doing. Whether it's an
they
addiction or
even
something.
got now homeless. They got people with signs saying that hey, I'm homeless and um can you help me out with money? They got these the new trend is they make this cardboard sign.
That ain't new.
No,
They've
no,
been
no.
had
But
trouble.
you see it more now because before they just would stand on the corner begging. Now they have these signs. But those people don't even be a lot of them are not even homeless.
We
They're not even
we had
homeless.
one situation to where some guys on the corner. We was coming home, and one guy was out there. You ask for money, and then there was another guy across the street screaming, "He ain't homeless. He ain't homeless." And I said, "Wow." And that
But
changed my thought process. Like, man, I ain't giving this guy no money. This guy over there saying he ain't homeless. He just out here standing on the
yeah,
corner
but how did
collecting
he
money.
know he wasn't homeless? Because he
Well,
wasn't home. He didn't look like he was
well,
homeless either.
the guy was standing.
And the
Well,
one that was asking for the money, he was walking around with shoes busted and walking like his feet
well,
was aching and
like you're
carrying
saying
on.
now, you don't know now
You really
today's
can't
world.
tell now who
People are
is and who
running
ain't.
scams, are
Yes,
playing so many games. You don't
yes,
know. I even heard of it was a group of people dropping people off at certain spots, and they out there bumming money, and then at the end of the day they go pick them up, and
yeah.
they go,
That's
what I
a
mean, they put
that's
all their money together, and but
that's a part
you
of your
don't
scam.
know,
So
know
you don't know anymore who
what
you're
to
helping.
believe, or you know what I
But
mean.
you know it's bad. And I guess the ones that say that they want food or whatever you can give, those probably are the ones
I've
that's
seen some
really
guys stand on the corner that was dressed like, boy, look at him, he got Nikes on. He had shoes on his feet that was more expensive than my shoes, and I mean, like, man, is this guy? I mean, he was dressed really good to be homeless, and it makes you wonder, like, is this guy really homeless? Because he looks kind of dressed up pretty good, but he's out there with a sign. Rather than go get a job, I don't know how much they make, but they stand on the corner for a
they
couple
even got him
hours.
saying
A veteran,
I'm a
a
homeless
veteran.
veteran. And I'm like, wait a minute,
Most of
don't they
them
get
get
a
the,
check?
yep. Most of them do if they
But
go through the proper channels to get it.
the thing may be now they could get a check, but is that check enough
Enough.
for them to live and to make it? That may be the
That's the
problem.
question.
That may
Yeah,
be the issue that they're
that's the
not getting
question.
enough.
All right, y'all.
Yeah, we way past time.
We way past our
I know
time.
people ain't gonna watch this video, but if you do, leave us a comment. Let us know your thoughts. Okay. And as we always say, if negativity comes knocking at your door, what do? Send it back where it came from because it doesn't belong to you. Be blessed.
I love you.
God
God
loves
loves
you.
you. See you on the next video.
Bye.
Peace out.